Have you ever felt guilty for saying no, even when you did nothing wrong? Someone asks for a favor, you decline, and suddenly you're the bad person. They sigh, they look disappointed, and you start questioning yourself. Am I being selfish? That's not your conscience talking. That's manipulation, because guilt is one of the most powerful psychological weapons, and the people who know how to use it can control almost anyone. Let's talk about how they do it, and how you can stop letting guilt run your life. You see, guilt is supposed to guide your morals. It tells you when you've crossed a line, when you've hurt someone, when you should do better. But manipulators twist it. They take your good heart and turn it against you. Why? Because people who feel guilty are easier to control. If I can make you feel responsible for my emotions, I can make you do what I want. You'll bend over backwards to make things right, even when you did nothing wrong. This happens everywhere. In relationships, friendships, even families. Someone plays the victim and suddenly you're the villain. They cry, they say, I thought you cared about me, or after everything I've done for you. And before you know it, you're apologizing for having boundaries. Let's break down how this works, and how to see through it before it takes over your peace. Point number 1, they use emotional debt. This is when someone reminds you of everything they've ever done for you, to make you feel like you owe them. They say things like, I was there for you when you needed help, and now you can't do this one thing for me? Sounds familiar? That's emotional debt. It's not about gratitude, it's about leverage. They want you to feel like saying no equals betrayal. The truth? You don't owe anyone your time, energy, or peace just because they helped you once. Kindness doesn't come with a contract. Real giving doesn't demand payback. Point number 2, they twist the narrative. Manipulators are masters at rewriting the story so they look like the victim. You set a boundary, and suddenly they're hurt. You take time for yourself, and they call you selfish. Here's the trick. They use exaggeration and selective memory. They'll only tell part of the story, the part that makes them look innocent and you look cold. For example, you might say, I can't talk right now. I need some space. And they'll respond with, wow, I guess you don't care about me anymore. See what they did there? They shifted the focus from your need to their pain. You end up defending yourself instead of standing firm. That's how guilt traps you. Not because you're wrong, but because you care too much. Point number 3, they exploit your empathy. If you're the kind of person who hates disappointing others, you're their favorite target. They know you'll feel bad the moment they act hurt. Imagine this. Your friend asks you to cancel your plans to help them move. You say you can't, and suddenly their tone changes. Wow. Okay, I thought we were close. You start second-guessing yourself. You think, maybe I should help. That's not kindness, and that's guilt conditioning. They're training you to put their comfort above your own needs. Empathy is beautiful. It makes you human. But when someone uses it as a leash, that's not compassion. That's control. Point number 4, they make you fear rejection. One of the sneakiest tricks is making you believe that love, friendship, or acceptance depends on how much you sacrifice. They make you think, if I don't do what they want, they'll leave. So you comply. You people please. You suppress your feelings just to keep the peace. And over time, you start losing yourself because you've been trained to believe that love must be earned through guilt. But real love doesn't guilt trip you. Real love respects your no. If someone only values you when you give in, that's not love. That's dependence dressed as affection. Now let's talk about the antidote. The only way to break free from guilt manipulation is awareness and boundaries. The next time someone makes you feel guilty, pause. Ask yourself, did I actually do something wrong, or do they just not like my boundary? If it's the second one, stand your ground. You're not responsible for other people's feelings when you're being honest and respectful. You can care about someone and still say no. You can love someone and still protect your energy. The moment you stop reacting to guilt, manipulators lose their power. Because guilt only works when you accept it. So here's your takeaway. Guilt is not proof of wrongdoing. It's a feeling, not a fact. Don't confuse someone's disappointment with your obligation. When you live by guilt, you become a puppet. When you live by truth, you become free. Start noticing the patterns, the sighs, the silence, the subtle comments meant to pull your strings. Every time you recognize it, you grow stronger. Because awareness is the beginning of freedom. If this message hit you, if you've ever been made to feel guilty just for being yourself, remember this. You don't owe anyone your peace to keep them happy. Respect is mutual. Kindness is choice, not control. Now I want you to think about this. Who in your life makes you feel guilty for having boundaries? And more importantly, what are you going to do about it? If this spoke to you, drop a no more guilt in the comments. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe for more real talk about the mind, human behavior, and taking your power back. Because the truth is, once you stop letting guilt control you, no one can.